at pricing again around the Twin Cities and see where we sit. And that's what this colorful sheet is. It's really small, so that's why I emailed to say bring a laptop if you can. But essentially, these are places that I researched. Ones in purple are similar to what we offer at Casey, and ones in yellow are similar to things we offer at Housy. With Casey, we are low compared to everybody else as far as our rental fees go. Deposits seem to be kind of all over the place. And then with Housy, we seem to be pretty in line. So based on these, the research that we did, we discussed, and we put together proposals. I will say one of the numbers I put in the packet is incorrect, so I will correct that as we go through here. But what staff is recommending is for Casey Lake Park, just across the board for residents, non-residents, and deposits, everything gets increased by $50. And again, just to make note, this would take place for 2026 rentals, so nothing this year. The idea with this is, one, to get us more in line with other cities that have similar facilities, get us closer, but also hopefully an increase in deposit makes people take the 10 p.m. situation seriously, because that's the major issue, is police is getting called out more frequently than we would like to kick people out after 10. So that is the idea for that increase. For Housy, not really much of an increase that we recommended, nothing for the rental fees, which I accidentally increased. I think I showed, no, I did not mess that one up, but the deposits we're recommending going from, they're all 150 right now. We're recommending to go to 200, and it looks like I'm accidentally put that some of them are 200 right now. Again, same thing, the 10 p.m. has been an issue there. We've also seen an uptick in people parking there, damaging the lawn with tents, volleyball courts, all sorts of stuff. So kind of, this is to hopefully get people to take our rules more seriously. So with that, I wanted to see if there was any questions, any input, what you think about our recommendations.
Yeah, I think the deposit going to 200 versus 150, it was 150 before?
At Housy, yes.
Okay, at Housy. Casey's deposit is what?
Casey's all vary. So right now, if you're a resident, it's 300, and if you're a non-resident, it's 350. So it would be increasing each of those $50 is what we're proposing.
Are we recouping when we get damage? Is the security deposit covering the recouping?
Some of it. I will say there was an incident this year with the front door of Casey. That door is thousands of dollars for repair. They're still kind of looking at to see what needs to be done with it. But when we try to go back and invoice these folks, they don't pay it. I mean, they're gone. So most of the time, yes, they're recouping costs for PD to come out and such. But when there's some damage, or it's taking our cleaning crew 3 hours to clean up instead of an hour, sometimes it's close.
It's discouraging because, you know, those of us who've been around long enough remember when it was like, oh, wouldn't it be lovely to have a place that residents, you know, people could rent, and it just seemed like such a nice thing, but I don't want it to be a hardship to the city or to Public Works. I don't want it to be a hardship. So what were you going to say, Cassie?
What is the number of residents versus non-residents?
Knew that you were going to ask me that, and I did not bring the number, but I do know the ratio is about 60% residents, 40% non now.
Okay.
As of this year. So we're definitely seeing a trend of other folks.
Out of that percentage, because I had the same question, how many of the residents are abusing the buildings rather than the non-residents?
I will say on this list, it's 50-50.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? And when they do this? Do we flag them for the next year and say no for whatever many years we're gonna?
We do, it depends on, I usually talk with either my boss or the city manager, just based on how egregious it was, if we put a flag on their account or not. But it doesn't stop them from renting, you know, I could rent it and I got a flag, but then my husband rents it under a different name.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a little hard.
Is the, what have you brainstormed regarding like the closing time and stuff? Like, have you thought, oh, we just move everything 2 hours up and just say everything ends at 8?
That's a
In the
great
hopes that in reality, things are out of there by 10, you know?
Yeah.
Is that, what have you what have been the thoughts?
We have not, so I will say this, we have not brainstormed changing the hours. However, it has been floated that do we get rid of alcohol use in our parks and don't allow that in our facilities, and would that help? Of course, that would require an ordinance change, so that's a bigger deal because we do allow it in our parks. But that has been the only discussion.
And that kind of takes away some of the events, like maybe there's a nice Thanksgiving dinner and, you know, for
Somebody has
or
wine or
whatever.
something.
Somebody wants to rent it for a family event and they want to serve wine. I don't want to take that away either.
Sure. I did find it interesting when I'm doing my research. Most cities don't allow it. And I found that
Allow
very
any
interesting.
alcohol?
Any at all.
Interesting.
And I found that very interesting. Yeah, I did.
Liability.
Yeah, absolutely, that's what it is. So they encourage folks that want the alcohol to go to private places to rent, which not that that's what we want either, but it's just interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we take the alcohol away, how do we enforce it, though? How do we enforce
Another
the,
question.
which came to mind, this was an off-the-wall idea, too, because when I had to rent K&J Catering, I had to pay a police officer, off-duty police officer, to supervise. And if we're having that many, what's the problem? Maybe we need to
That's true.
think about that.
We do have in our policy, I think it is 150 people or more with alcohol. You have to get an off-duty officer. However, to be completely transparent, when that has come up, the police have not had staffing to cover it anyway.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
So what are we actually asking for a deposit up front?
Well, that's two different things. So the deposits, we require the deposit and the rental fee at the same time up front when you book. But currently, it depends on if you're renting a weekday, a weekend, if you're a resident, non-resident. It's kind of all over the board. For Casey, the range is between 300 and 350, depending on the day and if you're a resident.
That's just the deposit.
That's just the
not
deposit.
rental fee.
Correct.
So
You-
roughly, to rent Housey, average with deposit, it's like $2,000?
How's your Casey?
I'm sorry, Casey.
Well, let's say we'll go through like the weekend for a resident. It would be, without the alcohol deposit, which was implemented last year, it'd be $700,
Including a deposit?
including that, and then you get
Yeah.
your deposit back. So that would be
Okay.
$300 back.
Top line.
For non-residents, it's a little bit expensive, which is kind of why we were shocked to see how many people, and it's not just Oakdale, Maplewood, it's Minneapolis, Maple Grove, Stillwater. People are coming from everywhere to rent it, which I think is great, but I don't know if that says a larger thing of we're cheaper than everybody else. So
So, yeah, if they are serving alcohol or having that available, they're also being charged another $150?
Yep, that's another $150 deposit.
And do they get that back if,
I'm so glad you asked that, because that's one other thing that I wanted to bring up today. It's the only other change I'd recommend to the park rental policy. Right now, what the language says is an additional $150 deposit is collected at the time of booking for events planning to have alcohol. This is returned with the building deposit after inspection of the building. If you do not pay the alcohol deposit at booking and evidence of alcohol containers is found inside, the $150 will be deducted from your building deposit refund. I like that language, but it doesn't say when we can withhold it.
and the problem is, I can tell you, no, I don't have I'm not gonna have alcohol, and then people are gonna have alcohol.
And bring the coolers.
Oh, well, yeah, yep.
So what we had recommended is even something generic to add language in there to all of that and say, this alcohol deposit is subject to be withheld by the city if violations of the park rental policy occur.
Yeah,
Because, yeah, it's very unclear right now. So we actually haven't held any because there's not been any damage from alcohol that we've noticed, but there's really not a way for us to
Yeah.
back up holding it right now, but
Yeah,
that
but-
little language would.
But damage from alcohol is different than just simply saying, we're having alcohol. So
Right.
if you're saying, we're having alcohol, that's a certain fee,
Yes.
certain
I-
extra fee.
Yes.
So I like that language.
Okay.
well, I think if they're gonna have alcohol at any of their events, that should be tacked on, not just as a deposit, but as an additional fee,
I think that's,
Okay.
not where it's returned.
oh,
Added to it, so let's say, for instance, it's, for a resident, it's $300 for the weekend. If you're gonna serve alcohol, and say you're a resident, it would cost you at least $75 just to have the alcohol, but have a deposit, you would give half of that back if everything was in good shape. Because with the alcohol, not just, you get more garbage and stuff. You're gonna have more glasses, more cans, more everything. And I think just so they can actually have the alcohol there, whereas other areas around us do not permit it at all, would be worth saying, okay, we do want to have alcohol here, you know, and we'll be charged an additional, you know, say 150, but 75 of that will go with the rental. You'd get 75 back if everything was pristine when they left.
Sarah, you might want to, here's a thought too. If they, so they, let's say they're paying $200 for the deposit, but not alcohol, and we find alcohol. You might want to put in there some sort of wording that says if they did not put a down payment or deposit for the alcohol, and we discover alcohol, that it will be taken out of there.
It does.
Does say.
It does? Okay,
Good idea, but yes, it is.
Okay.
It is in there currently.
Okay, Dave, I have a question. So ultimately, they're gonna end up paying, with what you're proposing, they're gonna end up paying $450 no matter what, up front. But if there's no damage and there's no damage to the building, there's no alcohol damage, they would get their deposit of $150 and $75 for the
no.
alcohol deposit?
If they were going to have alcohol there, our basic, just basic, well, I'm gonna go and have a birthday party for my niece. No alcohol or anything, is 300. If I know I'm gonna have a wedding rehearsal or use that as a venue, we know that we're gonna have alcohol, it's gonna cost you another 75 for the rental. You see what I'm getting at? But your deposit would be 150. If everything was clean when they were done, they would receive 75 back.
I'd say you just have a solid alcohol charge fee. If you're gonna serve alcohol, then
That's what I'm getting at. If
you
you're
don't
gonna
get
have-
any money back for anything. You just, we're gonna charge you, Dave, $100 for having alcohol at your event.
Right.
Right.
Your alcohol deposit's there for cleanup. If you don't clean up, you get it back, but we're gonna charge you because somebody else is being charged. Why would we allow that?
Well, right now, we're charging 150. They get it back if everything is nice and clean.
Yeah, that's a deposit. What I'm saying is, go ahead and charge.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, that's kind of where I was getting, I didn't want to see it, but if you cleaned up, because they might say, you know, I paid extra for this, you know, leave the beer cans over there and, you know, the couple wine bottles or whatever. But I agreed.
I wouldn't even give them part of that back. It's just I'm just saying, giving a flat for math purposes, $100. Sarah, I'm gonna charge you $100 for having alcohol at your event, and then you need to have a $150 deposit down, because if I have to clean up after you, that's gonna help pay for our cleaning crew.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. I just wanted to make sure they had the incentive to say, yeah, let's pick up all the beer cans or the cups or whatever, rather than they say, oh, I paid an extra 100 to drink here. I don't care if there's a wine bottle underneath the swing set. You know what I mean? I'd rather see them saying, hey, I already paid this, but I don't want to pay any more because I left it a mess.
So we're the exception to the rule regarding alcohols? Or are there other parks, I kind of missed that. Are there other parks in the area that allow alcohol?
There are, they don't charge extra for it, but again, out of the ones I researched, I think it might be one of the cities allows it. The rest of them, just by ordinance, don't allow.
Right.
And you know what the glory is? We can change it next year. I mean, it's one of those that you can always change it, see what it works. Does it work out? This worked out. If it doesn't, then
Yeah.
you just change it back for next fiscal year.
Sarah, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I like the idea of changing it. This is what I would propose, because I think that's a great idea. I would propose changing the $150 alcohol deposit to just a $100 additional fee. So it's not a
Yeah.
deposit, just a fee. But the incentive is you're still wanting to get your rental deposit back.
Right.
So there's still that there.
Which is substantial.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which then I could see making an argument for not necessarily increasing the rental fees. I maybe still increase the deposit. I still think that's a discussion to have. But if we go $100 fee for alcohol, I would then propose not to increase the rental fees at Casey,
Okay, so
just to
now,
keep it.
I would like, what I'd like to see, and I'd say this to council right now as well, I'd like to see the deposit fees increased.
Yeah, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially with, if we're not covering costs and, for example, that $1,000 door, I think that door's been like that for a little bit because we have talked about that.
Yep.
If we're not covering those costs, and if it's taking our cleaners over a couple hours to do it, and I'd have to look at our bills to see what the hourly fee is for that, then we're clearly not making out for any of that, and we really should be. So I would still bring it up in council to increase those deposit fees.
Okay.
so what if, okay, the first thing that we for sure want to change is the wording that you brought up
Yep,
about
I can do
some
that.
sort of like being able to withhold it.
Yes.
Whatever you said.
Yep.
Okay. The other two things that we're talking about is adding a flat $100 additional fee for any of our rentals if they're going to have alcohol there. And then the second thing that Cassidy just brought up was increasing the deposit fees. So what if we still, you said that you weren't sure we should increase the fees if we're adding the alcohol charge.
I think that starts to become a big jump in 1 year
Okay.
personally, if we do that and rental fees. I think we could revisit it for next year, just to get us again more in line with other cities.
Yeah.
So what if tonight we move forward with the new wording that allows us to recoup that funding if needed and a flat $100 additional fee for alcohol?
Okay,
And then we pay attention to the data between now and the next time we would have this conversation to see if any
so
changes
not
have been.
increase the deposits.
I think we should increase the deposits from like 150 to 200, because then be good and you get your money back.
Yes, I wouldn't increase the rental fee, but the
Yeah.
rental deposit, I would.
Oh, I misunderstood. Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had initially recommended the rental fee increase, but I wouldn't do that if we're
Doing alcohol.
doing alcohol.
So the issue is not so much people renting it, it's the people that are renting it and wrecking things.
Either that or, yeah, just in there too late.
So you hate to penalize the people that are residents and they're doing the right thing. Just raise it all up and they'll,
Takes one to
Yeah.
ruin it for
And
everyone.
the
though.
idea,
So what,
Hold on. Can you let Ingrid
yeah,
finish?
so the
her thought?
idea for the higher deposit is just more accountability. They're just that's gonna attract a person who's more accountable and going, well, sure, okay, that 300 seems like a lot of money, but I know I'm gonna get it back because I know I'm gonna care for the facility. We wanna attract that person. So were we recommending the deposit go up to 200? Is that what?
200 for Housy, and then for Casey, we would, what I was recommending is a $50 increase for their deposits. Again, it varies if it's a weekday or weekend.
Yeah.
But essentially go from 300 to 350.
Yeah, I think that, I like the idea of the raise on the deposit, Because
Yeah.
that's not saying you're going to pay us more. It is if you mess up the building, but,
Okay.
yeah, I like that.
And when they do the deposit, it gets into our pockets, right? And then we,
It gets returned to them if everything.
well, yeah, but it gets into our pockets, so they can't say, nope, I'm gonna change my credit card.
They have to
Yep.
pay it up front.
And we, just so you guys know, we give all of our refunds back via check, so it takes a little while.
Oh,
but,
good.
Yeah, so we do have it.
I like
wonder
that.
if we should also consider, now that we're proposing implementing an alcohol fee, if there should be a deduction if alcohol is found and they did not pay
It's
the
in the.
fee.
That is in there. If they,
It's in the wording.
Are we, okay, so that would be continued.
Yeah, so
They
what
won't
I'll
get the
do is
deposit
I'll
back?
adjust it, because it's pretty specific to the $150 fee, but what I'll
Okay.
say is, if you don't pay it, $100 will be deducted from your deposit refund.
Yes,
I
if we
wonder,
find evidence.
I wonder if it should be more than just the alcohol fee.
Oh, I see.
Fee for
Oh, like a
lying.
penalty on.
Yeah.
Penalty for lying.
or maybe it is 150.
Well, I think that's where we increase our fees. I mean, because then you're getting,
But I think what she's saying is, if you, if
Everyone
you-
would just chance it.
Yeah.
They'd be like, no, we're not having alcohol. Maybe they won't catch us, and then maybe we won't have to pay.
and it's $100 either way.
Yeah.
But if we catch you using alcohol,
Then you have to pay more than the $100 fee.
so do you take, and then I'd want to go back and say, when do you charge?
We'd take it from the deposit.
So so if we,
Then we just, take it, yes. Okay, now I'm following you, sorry.
so like 150. I think
Guys are
that's-
going all
yeah, I
over.
think that's.
Yeah, we're talking about, there's a lot
Okay.
of moving parts here.
Can I summarize?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay, so new wording, we're moving forward with. That's allowing us to withdraw for alcohol-related damage.
yes,
That's good. We don't need to talk about that. We're doing that. $100 additional fee for alcohol. That's good. We don't need to talk about it. Moving forward with it. Increasing deposit fees to
$50.
so 200 for housing, and then resident at Casey 350, non-resident 400.
yes.
Yes, okay? So now that we all agree on that, the part that we're talking about is specifically if you do not pay the alcohol fee and you rent the facility and we find that you had alcohol, are we going to just withdraw or withhold $100 from your deposit or from your overall fee? Or are we going to charge a higher rate because you were dishonest?
They don't get their deposit back.
The,
I would just say you don't get your deposit back.
Forfeit your
I think that's
deposit.
valid.
any of it?
Yeah.
You don't get nothing
Yeah, you
back.
forfeit.
You lied to us.
Yeah, let's say you forfeited.
Then that's easy enough for enforcement.
Yep.
And we aren't creating a very intricate process.
Right.
Okay,
And
so,
language just needs to be clear, so I
Yep.
make sure all language is clear. It doesn't matter if it's a beer bottle. It's, I mean, any alcohol.
So what I'll do for that is when people register, I'll make it a prompt that they have to agree to.
Nice.
yes. Yep, exactly. And it will say, if we find, if you have not paid the alcohol
You're in
deposit and we find that alcohol was used at the event, you're in violation of our policy and we are withholding your deposit.
Can do that.
Great,
Easy.
okay.
So I don't know, but just to be safe, I feel like we should just vote on this since it's a
Yeah,
recommendation for
I'm going to
council.
make that motion.
Okay. You would like to make that motion?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
What we just discussed. My motion is to raise the deposit fees by $50. To also include a $100 fee for alcohol use. And if any violations of the alcohol policies are found, you will forfeit your entire deposit.
And adjust the wording.
Yes, that's.
Yep,
Yes.
yep,
And adjust the wording.
I second the motion.
okay.
That's required, okay.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay,
Awesome. So with the next steps with that is I will put together a recommendation to go to council in October. And then the goal is to have this in place so that when rentals open on December 1st of 2026, it's all good to go, and we're done.
We did not address the timing element, the
Oh, yes.
lateness. So is there anything you'd like us to consider right now regarding that?
Not that I'm recommending, but I'm open to hearing if you have ideas or thoughts about the time of the park facility.
Okay, I have a question on the timing. When someone does rent, let's say Housy, and their time is, they have to be out, let's say 8 o'clock. If they're running 10 minutes over, are we keeping their deposits?
Yes. Here's why. Our cleaning staff arrives at both of the locations at 10 o'clock. And if they're not able to get in to do cleaning, we're paying them to just sit there. So they call PD out.
Okay.
So that, yeah, we end up keeping the deposit.
I've had two residents ask me about Housy and what they were not happy because they lost their deposits.
Okay.
And I said, I'll check on it. But then, working with like public schools, there's a time. If it says this time, it's that time. So I wanted to see if are our cleaning crews there, let's say it's 8 o'clock, they have to be out. Are our cleaning crews there at 8 o'clock, or do they come in and say at 9 or 10?
They are there right at, that's part of their responsibility is to be there right at 10 or closing time to ensure that the renter is out of the facility, so.
Then my other question is, the cleaning staff that clean those facilities, are they public employees or are they contracted out?
They're contracted out.
Okay.
Yep.
So that makes sense. I wanted to get clarification on that because the one had quite a heated discussion with me, and
Okay.
I said, and I tried to use that analogy, hey, working with the public, that's why we have times, just like with, community ad, So I was trying to but I said, let me check into it, because they were mad, they lost the entire deposit, and I said, okay, I can see your point where, yeah, you're only 10 minutes late, but,
The bigger issue is if PD gets called out, sorry to interrupt, because that costs quite a bit more. And that's what's been happening is PD's having to come out and help escort them out. So it does end up increasing a fee.
Is there language when someone reserves the rental saying like,
Yeah,
if
strong
you're a
language.
minute late, you will,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep,
Then I think
there's
we're
a
covered.
prompt they have to agree to, and then there's a flag before they rent it. It's in the park rental policy. We talk to them on the phone, like,
Our basis.
we try to hammer it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if it's really stressed,
Yeah.
then
Okay.
There are also, sometimes when it happens to somebody in the moment, it feels like it shouldn't be a big deal that they're there 10 minutes late.
Yep.
But when you take a step above and you see that it's a pervasive pattern.
Yeah.
And that it is causing a lot of issues, it unfortunately does mean that we do need to be really strict about the 10 PM policy because other people have ruined it for other people. So,
Yes.
no, I get it.
yeah, no, I know, just also saying that publicly.
I'll say on the flip side too, just again for your guys' knowledge, on the flip side for Housy, we still give keys out for access there. They're working on updating that, but not currently. And we keep the deposit if they don't pick up the key either, because if they have to call on-call staff to let them in, that's a minimum 3-hour overtime to pay our on-call to come in. And that, while it feels kind of weird, it's also, that's a lot of money that we're spending to have somebody come unlock the door for you.
So are we looking at putting some kind of a code pad on there? Where, because that can be ran from here, where we can set the code, and then, 8:10, their code won't even open the door anymore.
Yep, there's kind of two things in play there. One, there hasn't been internet there. They're working on putting fiber in now.
Okay,
That should help with that. Also, the city is switching to a new access system. We're getting it all new here at City Hall. So eventually it will roll out to the parks too. So they're working on it. Hopefully that comes in the near future.
yeah, because at the school district, at a couple of the sites back in the day, we had it, they weren't tied to the internet, but they were electronic, and you had to have a badge, and we could program the badge when we pass it out after a day or whatever it was, they could not get access.
Sure.
So there's a lot of different systems out there. But yeah, if we get where we have Wi-Fi out there, they can then just shut it down.
Yeah.
So,
And that'll give us an opportunity to get cameras there too, and that'll be
Perfect.
great, so. Yes.
Okay.
okay.
Shall we talk about grant opportunities?
Sure.
We ran the meeting.
What did you say?
Grant
Oh,
opportunities.
grant opportunities.
Do you want me to start with that, Laura, and then?
Yeah, I can just chime in, I guess.
Sure. So, as you know, we have some great things that the Parks Commission has been planning to do here in the coming future, particularly 2026, but in the near years. And a way that is going to be able to help the city fund these is to get grants. And so what I have put together in here with Laura's help is kind of a step-by-step process on how to research grants. And there's a lot of helpful links that I've included and organizations that Laura found as well that can really help drive research. But what the ask is going to be is for commissioners to take on projects that are coming up, particularly 2026 and 2027 is what I would look at heavily, and research grants with particular projects. So for example, if Laura was to take ownership of the playground at McKnight, and her focus is over the next however long to continue to research grants, and if you find opportunities that you think the city would match well with, that looks like it could work for us and would be a good opportunity, we bring those back to the commission, discuss it, see what we all think about it, and then that would go back to staff for myself and my boss, Ken Roberts, to look at it and apply for those, bring it to council, get their thoughts, and kind of get the ball rolling. But this initial step is researching and seeing what's out there and available to the city. And so that is what we're talking about today. Laura, do you have any, anything on top of that?
No, we just, we know that not everybody, like sometimes our jobs overlap with grants and finding grants and stuff, but also others don't. And so I just wanted to like make sure that all of us put our brains together and we are able to like, that it's just clear that we've like created a process for everybody. And there's supports in there if you don't know what to do. And also it can be really overwhelming to just like go on a grant website and there's a million grants and they're not the most like stimulating read. So, the idea that Sarah had was then to like, okay, let's make it really specific. So you can just always keep your eye open for, you know, a skateboard or a skate park grant. And the hope is that this is going to take this off of the city's plate because they don't have enough staff already. We're not going to add this massive like search for grants portion to their plates. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yes, I think that's great. And what I would just ask from my perspective is if you find grants and we want to bring them back to the commission to try to get those to me like a week before the meeting so I can get them in the packet. I know that that's sometimes not reasonable and we might have to just adjust on the fly. But if you're able to, and this is ongoing, by the way, so it's not like next month we're asking for this. It's an ongoing search. If you can get those to me and kind of what you're thinking a week before the meeting, we can certainly discuss them and
I
move forward.
appreciate that you are trying to simplify the process or define the process, because I honestly didn't know where to start, what to do. I remember going online and just being overwhelmed and shutting down.
Yep.
So if I had, you know, like and I'm very busy with a lot of different things, so I can't promise a lot of time, but if you said, hey, Ingrid, once every 2 weeks, will you go on this one site and look for, you know,
Yeah.
I could do that.
Yeah.
If it's kind of laid out for me, if it's a task.
Sure.
And where I don't have to do a lot of the.
Research.
Yeah, well, I'll do the research, but not all the, like.
How to.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't have to write anything.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I know.
yeah, it's just, so for example, if you wanted to take something like the McKnight the baseball fields, and you are like, I'm gonna look on the Minnesota Twins Community Fund
Yeah, right.
once every 2 weeks for
Yes,
grant
I can
opportunities.
do that. I love
That's
that.
very specific.
Yeah.
Yes. The only other ask I would say is if you see something that when you're reading the grant and it's glaringly obvious it won't work for us, a lot of them will say, government entities do not qualify. Let's just move
Yeah.
on from that. Or, some of them have certain stipulations that, you might see that's glaring. You might not know either, and that's totally fine. We can sort that out on our end, but that'd be the only thing to pay attention to.
Do you know if the Timberwolves have grants?
Yes,
You
all
know,
of
do
the,
they- Yeah.
sorry, I apologize, please finish.
No, I was just going to say, if the Timberwolves have grants like that we could apply for.
Every professional sports team has a philanthropic arm.
Yeah.
Vocab point.
Yeah.
And it usually has to do with some sort of community project that boosts that sport.
Okay.
So,
I would be happy to, I would love to,
I remember during our last community development personnel, when I brought up the thing about grants, and he said, no, that, your department was gonna do that.
Yep.
So now you're,
We write them.
right, we cannot write a grant.
Correct, and that's what should have been all along too, was we write them, but anybody can research the grants and.
Well, yeah, when I kind of asked that, and he said, no, you guys, that department was going to handle that.
Sure.
So that was kind of taken off the plate, but if you remember, last January or February, I brought this whole thing up prior to him leaving. So, yeah, I'll start looking at grants that
be great.
would be out there that I can forward, hey, look at this, you know.
Yeah, is there particular projects that you all are interested in that you'd like to be, for lack of a better word, assigned to, that's your focus is, I want to look at the things that could apply for the active playground at Casey that we have on the CIP for next year?
Yeah.
Is there
Right.
projects you're all,
Do you think we should divvy it up to like one per person sort of situation?
that's either that or if there's like a big project like the one at McKnight, maybe there's two people that can try to communicate, but yes, that was my thought, was one per person.
okay.
Just to,
There's 7 commissioners?
yes,
Okay, and then there's 8 projects.
okay,
So we can do that, and then we'll need to make space for but and I agree with you about the bigger project. It might make sense to have 2 people on that.
sure.
So if we're looking at this list of projects, it's on page 22. So we have McKnight mini pitch,
Yep.
McKnight skateboard BMX, McKnight ball fields, McKnight green space and event space, Third Street Park, Downtown Park, Casey Lake Ninja Course, and Northwood Park reutilization. Does anybody feel passionately? Oh, Ingrid.
I do, I feel passionately about the Casey Lake Park Ninja Course.
Okay, I'm going in hot. I'd like Northwood.
Well, that's your part. Oh, okay, Northwood is, yeah, Northwood is, yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Sorry, I just stole it.
And then you stole
Y'all
it
can
from me.
partner up if you
Okay.
want.
Sarah really feels passionately about that one, too,
Okay.
Aren't you
Yeah.
McKnight too?
but I
Well,
I
it's
was
my
here.
park.
love
And I've got some serious stuff coming up for the next 2 months, so.
Look at the mic, I can work on McKnight.
What specifically at McKnight would you like to work on?
Weren't we thinking about, here was one thought I had, weren't we thinking about a dog park over there?
No,
No?
That's kind of gone
That's
away.
not.
Okay, then I would have to look through the,
they're right here. Which
well,
one of-
the first,
Once you take
I
on
would
the
say
skateboard.
skateboards, yeah. Let's start with skateboards, because there's a guy downtown
Yep,
that was interested, so,
and he might be able to help you find some grants.
yep, yep.
You might be able to, there's a skateboard shop downtown.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
yep.
said
Oh, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
That's, I just.
Guy downtown.
I thought you meant that you just saw someone on the streets working and you were gonna go find him.
I already tried out a couple of kids. Hey, you got any money in your pocket? Come on.
One other good resource for skateboards is Minneapolis Parks and Rec. They have a huge skateboard initiative, and they have they work with a local guy who also does like skateboard art courses. He's super involved, but on their website, there's a bunch of stuff about it. So, and I believe that was grant funded, some of the work that they've done.
It
So that's
is.
another good one.
I'm actually
Thank you.
looking at it right now.
Oh, perfect.
I sent you guys a bunch of websites too. All you gotta do is look it up.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
You're gonna get boatloads. So I just sent you guys an email full of it.
Okay, so Dave, do you wanna step out of this for?
Well, for a while, I've got some health issues.
Yeah.
That are gonna kind of limit to what I can do, at least for the next 2 months.
Okay, so how about you don't,
But I do have a question while we're looking at this list. I thought I was under the impression that they were gonna kind of cancel Third Street Park because of the putting a retaining wall. I thought I heard something about that.
That was you're not wrong about the retaining wall, but that was if they were gonna develop it for housing.
Oh.
For a park, there's still an opportunity without putting the retaining wall in.
Okay, well, then I'll try to see what I can find for, natural play and stuff.
okay,
I'll keep on Third Street at this time, looking for grants.
perfect.
So, and I'll start there, so.
All right,
Where would, I got one question, Laura. Where would, if I'm gonna go to the skateboard guy and go, hey, we need some funding for maybe a skateboard area, that would mean we'd be proceeding at some point in some area of McKnight redevelopment? Okay,
That's why
okay.
it feels sometimes a little bit like we're putting the cart before the horse, but we have to know that we're getting funding in order to go to council and say, we need additional funding to finish this project. So it feels a little awkward, but it's just the process we have to.
We might be able to piecemeal it in over
Right.
the course of several years.
Yeah, you just want to know if he knows anyone who's, has money out there, grants that we can get and put towards it. We don't actually have a set plan now for the skateboard park itself, right?
Not yet. So what, and I'll talk about this too, the survey is complete. We're just waiting for the results for there, so we're kind of moving forward with that. And then the next step would be to get engineered plans for that,
Right.
which costs some money too. Again, that's something that we can also look for grants for, is getting engineered plans for
Right.
McKnight as well.
Really?
So something to look into, but that would be the next step.
Is council, Cassidy, is council in favor of skate parks? Because I know it's been a touchy issue in the past.
Yeah.
Okay.
To my knowledge, they are.
Okay, good.
But what I will say is I wouldn't plan for that Third Street Park. So I would wipe that because there'll eventually be a student-built house right there. So,
but we could still put a park behind it, just
Behind
make
it,
it a community
you're
garden.
thinking of putting it up on the corner, is the way I understood it. And leaving that, which is really heavily wooded, as a park area.
Or do you
correct?
think that's not gonna happen with the house there?
I can't answer that.
Okay,
I don't know.
okay,
So I wouldn't feel comfortable saying yes or no to that one.
okay, so,
Along those lines, didn't we discuss last meeting about potentially doing a land survey for the Third Street Park so that we can kind of lay claim to what remains?
Yes, and I brought that to the city manager. That doesn't really like lay claim to it. It's just city land. It's not necessarily
Yeah.
designated park land. But certainly something we can add to the CIP to have interest in for the future.
Okay.
all right, well, it's not gonna hurt us to look for grants.
Right, I think,
So we can still look, and then,
Yeah.
because my understanding, the consensus from this committee is we want more of a natural play area there.
Yep.
And, which I'm sure there'll be some grants out there.
yes,
Because it's a low budget kind of thing. I mean, you know what I mean? It's not like putting a brand-new playground in there, because a lot of this stuff is either like concrete logs or just boulders, and some of that we could get donated. The other part would be, maybe working out some asphalt trails and then some natural trails. And I know we don't have a complete design for that, but we do have enough from HGA to at least say, hey, we can contact these people, see if they're going to work with the city to start with, and then present that to Sarah and Ron, right? Yeah, or Ken. So, I mean, that's what they're looking for us to say, hey, these people are interested. Go ahead and write it up, so. But you're not sure at all if we're gonna develop that as a park at all?
Right now, I wouldn't count on it, but again,
Because that's the way I kind of read it, that's why I brought it up,
and yeah, no, I hear you.
so.
What I would say is that corner area, that's for development.
Yeah, I heard that through the grapevine 2 months ago, they were planning on putting a house there. And I said, well, it still leaves us the rest of that area. And if we aren't, so Cassidy, do you know, being on council, are they just looking at that one area, or are they looking at the wooded area as well?
I can't answer
Because
that.
I don't think that lot's deep enough to put a house there.
I can speak to that a little bit. That was where the concern was with the retaining wall, because the grading is so bad there that they would have to put a retaining wall, and that wasn't going to be an expense that the city was willing to take on. Of course, things can always change, but that is the last that I had heard, they kind of moved on from that idea because of that retaining wall.
As far as developing it as a park?
As homes. That was
Right.
considered as homes even years ago, but because of the grading issue,
Right.
it's off the table.
But
The park is still, I haven't heard like, yes, the park is still a go, but they haven't
We
said
haven't
no either.
talked about
Yeah,
that wooded area either.
yeah.
It sounds like it's still worth reviewing
Yes.
for grant.
yeah, I think it's worth my time to do some research
Absolutely.
So do we
and
want
see
to,
what might be out there, so.
do we want to divvy up the rest of the
Well,
ones?
Laura, what did you take? Did you take anything?
I have
yet?
not taken anything yet. I do think we should assign Sarah to the downtown park, because that would be silly not to do that. Okay, so we have Ben and me.
I feel like Ben would like either the ball fields or the mini pitch.
Yeah,
I'd vote mini pitch for him,
okay.
unless someone else feels differently. I'm going off
Ben can always
vibes.
speak up too.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're not going to force them.
No, I
Much.
plan on sending them an email tomorrow, letting them know, hey, this is what you were volunteered for, but it's not permanent, it's just,
People like you and they think that you're interested in this.
yes.
I can do the ball fields for sure.
Okay.
I can also do green space and event space if
Okay.
that works. And then, of course, if you're looking for grants and you are working on the Third Street Park and you see a skateboard grant, you are allowed to forward the skateboard grant, even if it isn't yours. Don't feel like you can only
Do one
do
thing.
the one thing. Yeah, exactly.
Step up.
Think outside the box.
Yep.
If you
Yeah.
see a grant for, $1,000 regarding something and you're like, we could use that in any of the parks.
Yep.
Then bring it over to Sarah and say, we should do this.
Can we take private donations? Like, there's people out there that are philanthropists.
We can't solicit for it,
Okay,
if they just on their own will.
okay, that answers my question then.
Yeah, if they want to donate it for a certain cause, they can do
They
so.
got to come to me.
My
They got to
other,
come to the city, that we can't go to them.
my other question
Only
is,
the
I
Godfather
know
kind of
sometimes
thing.
with donations, like naming rights can be questions. Is that something that we ever,
That would be something that council would,
question.
yeah, and Jack, and then,
That's a Jack
Okay.
question.
sounds good.
yeah. Which I'll find that out
I just,
now, just because that could come up in some of these
I'm thinking like
research.
the twins, if we get a grant with them for the ball fields, there's some sort of something. I don't know. But I just wanted to put that out there.
That's something council would want to discuss too, if that came up at some point.
Naming rights?
Yeah.
I think that at the end of it, it comes down to how much money. I mean, we could throw out a big name and, we'll use one of the local, we'll use Burwald's, for example. If Burwald decide, I'm going to build a brand-new park for the city.
Yeah.
And he wants it named Burwald Park, then, I can't see why they would turn it down because he just donated all that money to build a park. So
Right.
I don't think that's an issue.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, it's kind of reminds me though of the XL Center, which is now Grand
Grand Casino Stadium.
Stadium.
now?
Which one?
Grand
XL
Casino
Center
right now.
is now Grand Casino Stadium.
They have a naming right for so long. It's like 10 years or 15 years or whatever, so,
Grand
I mean, that'd be something to look into too, so.
Okay,
Okay.
my lovely, wonderful humans, I would like to be done talking about grant opportunities. Is there anything else that we absolutely need to talk about? Okay. Yes.
Oh, God, I almost forgot. Sarah and Laura, thank you so much for putting this together. It is very simple
Yes.
and easy to read, and it will be very, I will appreciate it every time I do this. Great work, appreciated, well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sarah?
Yeah.
Regarding Southwood,
Yep.
which trees are they removing? Because some of the ones along,
10 dead ones.
because some of the ones along the border are starting to die out.
Can we
Nor-
pause this?
Sure?
For your
Okay, yep,
commissioner
yep,
report?
yep.
So that we can stay on agenda?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. All right, Sarah, reports from staff.
All right, I'll keep mine short and sweet. So I mentioned before, the survey of McKnight was happening Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of last week. So now they're just compiling all their info and going to get it over to us. So we'll have that official information. I'm hoping for next meeting I can bring that. Not that we're going to necessarily be able to read it all, but at least we'll have it. So that's moving forward. The other projects for this year. So Polar Park, as we know, is going to be a spring 2026 installation at this point. We have confirmed with the contractor everything that we needed, so, or with the creator of the playground, so that is moving forward. The windscreen at Housie for the pickleball courts, we have them. However, Public Works is recommending not installing them this year because they're going to have to uninstall them right away for the winter. So I think we're just going to do it in spring. Same with the Gaga ball pits. They said they would recommend, they have the parts, but they would recommend not putting them out right now because now we're kind of past that season.
Yep.
So if everybody's okay here with that for spring. The ball field reutilization at Casey is all done. So it's all green space now, grass is growing. They have removed the concrete pads from where the shelters were. So the next step is Ron is looking into soccer goals. So that'll be spring also, but he's going to do some research now.
Awesome.
And then Southwood, this might answer your question, maybe not. So they are still working, Public Works and our horticulturalists are working to meet with Prairie Restorations and Minnesota Native Landscapes to talk over the plan that we talked about last week, which include tree removal. I can re-forward you the plan. It has the trees exactly pointed out that are going to be removed, but they're all along the path. So they're dead ones that could fall and hurt somebody.
And they're really good if, some of them I can always talk with Ron.
Absolutely.
They're really good about, but they don't want to go in there till winter because they usually lay plywood and they'll come through my yard and that's fine and they.
Sure. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're sitting with that, but they're excited to move forward with the plan that we presented last month. And then we had the Autumn Arts Festival a couple weeks ago. If you weren't able to go, it was wonderful, but I promoted the heck out of the Park Passport program, so hopefully that continues to see people. I am going to ask a favor, though. We are really short-staffed right now due to some things happening, so I can't bring these out to the parks, but I have printed them and
Yeah, we got
laminated
you.
them.
We
If you
got
guys
you.
are willing to put them
Yes.
at every park,
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely, absolutely.
that would be amazing.
Yep.
And then, we're gonna just keep promoting it and seeing how it does. So far, to be honest, we've only had 4 people do it completely, but I've had about 8 to 10 people come in and be like, is this the type of picture you're looking for? Yes, so they're working on it. So I know it's spreading.
Yeah.
But if you have other ideas to mention it, I know you guys are pretty good about talking to the community too about this program, so keep doing it.
Those flyers, do they just go on a kiosk at a park?
Yep, and a kiosk, if there's a shelter, I'd recommend there should be someplace where they can just get attached onto the shelter or whatever you think would get the most visibility. I trust you all.
Okay.
And if you need zip ties to do it, let me know. I can get them from Public Works. This is what I had time for so right now, so. That's all I got.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay, let's do reports from commissioners. Rachel, do you feel ready to start?
Sure. And this is, we have combined it.
Yeah, it's whatever you need to tell us
Okay.
within the scope of parks.
Laura.
Yes.
For the park passport, do you think if we got flyers at schools,
Yes.
would that be allowed and handy?
Yes.
Sarah, do you think we could print out additional copies, non-laminated, that we could
Yes.
distribute to places?
Or is there somebody that I could send it to?
Send it to me.
Send it to you. Then.
Groovy.
Well, will you put both Rachel and I on it?
Yep.
And then we'll handle it.
Yep.
Good. Excellent. Also, okay, Autumn's Arts Festival seemed really good. We had a ton of volunteers. It was very well attended for the 2 hours that I was there. I think there was a lot of people, a lot of activity, a lot of movement. It seemed like the perfect size. I think people were having a good time. I think that worked really well. The parade was really fun. I'm glad we were at the beginning.
The sprint?
That was, yes.
Sprint?
The parade was great.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything actual physical park related, so I will be done.
All good updates. Thank you. Ingrid.
I have nothing for Silver Lake or Dorothy.
Okay, any other like event or anything?
I thought the Autumn Arts Festival was also well-attended, and really, there were a lot of moving parts to that. Really was fun to see that all come together. I thought it was nice. It was easy to visit the vendors in the parking lot. I'm wondering if we had a lot of people complaining that they couldn't park, but that's not a huge parking lot. So I think it was probably a really good trade-off, because I thought the vendors were probably happy to be on level ground.
It's just easy to walk as a.
It was easier to navigate.
viewer as well.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Sorry.
So that was a good call, I think. And the parade was exciting. And I'm glad we were in the front.
Oh, yeah.
And we were,
Raindrops keep.
we ran the whole way, yeah, trying to keep up with the track, but it was fun. Okay, I have.
I actually want to touch on the parking piece. Sarah, I would like to make a recommendation that the Sean's Way, which is right across the street, has parking one-sided only
Is this
in the
on
future.
Is that the north entrance of Casey?
Oh, good Lord, you'd have to.
It's across the street.
It's
from
across
Sean's
Casey.
Way.
It's
It's literally,
cul-de-sac
it's
across the
literally, it's the cul-de-sac.
right where you come in.
But people
Oh.
were parking on both sides, which meant if you're coming out as a resident, or even if you parked there, you're coming out and someone's going in, someone's gonna have to back.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I would like to make that recommendation that in the future,
Yeah.
for both those parking there, but also those really that live there. I'm surprised there hasn't been any conversation around it, but parking one side only for that, because it is hot parking. I mean,
Ava sent a little survey afterwards, and she always does this, any feedback, any way we can improve. Did you happen to fill, I forgot to fill that out, so I'm going to go do that.
Yeah, I haven't filled it out. I've seen some of the results so far, but I haven't filled it out.
Okay, I need to fill that out.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So that would be a good place to mention the
Yeah.
parking.
Yeah.
I have nothing more.
I think that the Autumn Arts Fest was great. I don't think it was perfect. I don't know if we're striving for perfect. I know the last minute pivot was hard, and I just want to acknowledge that there was a ton of work that went into that. And so I don't want to say that all of that work was not worth it. I think that setup is still a little bit flawed. And going forward, I know that the Arts Commission does a lot of work on that too. I don't know if it's possible for us to ever have some sort of combined style meeting or an opportunity for all us in the Arts Fest to talk together. Because I feel like we have good insight to add. And I know that Ava kind of ends up as like the conduit between the two in that situation, but I don't think that's setting her up for success. I think we need to all, or like a committee or something, all need to be in the same room to talk to each other, bring historical knowledge, and also just kind of like think creatively about what it's gonna look like. So if we could put some sort of like note that, I feel like it would be important to have that be a team effort. That's what I have.
Ingrid, if you don't mind, is there a note on at the Silver Lake on the tennis courts about keeping bikes off? Because I'm noticing kids are riding around on their bikes.
Really, recently?
Yes. Yes. FYI.
We do have a sign, right? On
I
the.
think so, but I'm not positive, so.
And I'm afraid what
check.
they're doing is they may be skidding and stuff, and I don't,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take a look, and if
okay.
there's not, I'll send that to Public Works too.
and then I'll talk to Ron about the other tree issues if they're not marked.
Okay, I'll
just-
send you the,
He's really good about it. I can just notify him, and he goes, yeah, I'll come out in the winter, and
Yeah.
they usually do it in the winter anyway, so the ground's froze.
I'll send you the list of the ones, or the map now, so, because maybe we're thinking about the same trees.
And then, David, I'll try to hold on the fort with Southwood. while
Well,
you're- I know you're busy. You're going to be busy. I understand. I got you.
okay.
All right, Dave.
That's it.
Yeah, I got nothing to report either.
Okay. All right. Well, everyone's favorite line item, motion.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Great.
Good job.